Our vision is of a world where spaces are smart. Okay? People are able to guide it through them seamlessly, and operators are able to understand better how people use those spaces to be able to improve the services. So in terms of background, we started this journey when I read that Milton Keynes Centrum K had spent £3 million on touchscreen terminals. This is going back a decade. And it struck me that was rather a lot of money. £3 million. And of course I went to try it. And I realized that it didn't actually work very well, for the simple reason that I have to go to it and queue, because there's a queue of people waiting. And then finally I get my turn to play with the screen, find out where to go around this side and that side, and of course I set off. And 2 minutes later I've lost where I am. I'm looking for another terminal. So I thought, okay, there must be a better way. And that's why we set out thinking that we need to be able to digitize spaces, right? In order to be able to use that digitized space to be able to transform the customer experience. And that journey took us really to saying, a digitized space, what would that look like? That's actually what you're looking at when you're using an autonomous vehicle. The same kind of approach, digitizing spaces, so you can guide vehicles through them. We want to do the same on the indoors. Digitize indoors, guide people through them, and then provide insights and tracking. So that's our mission. So let's just look at some of the problems that we have indoors. We've all experienced that anxiety and stress that comes when you're in a complex space like King's Cross Station, and you're trying to navigate your way around and you don't quite know where you are. There's a lot of stress, missed connections. Because if you're there for the first time, it's difficult to find your way through. So that's an example of the problem. It creates a lot of anxiety for users. Then the other thing is you're out at the place and it's crowded, so you're going to be delayed. So you didn't know in advance how crowded that space was, but you rocked along and it means you miss your connection, you miss your appointment. It might be an appointment at the hospital, so 1 in 10 hospital appointments are cancelled because people don't show up on time. So it has an impact not just for operators or for persons, but also for service providers. And then we think it's even worse for those who have an impairment or disability. For them, it's a nightmare not having information about what's going on inside spaces before they come. It means they can't plan their visits. They need to plan to be able to have a safe journey, because sometimes if they don't plan, they get stuck. Imagine being stranded at a station with nobody to help you through, because you didn't realize that they didn't tell you that there's no staff to assist you. Okay, so 2/3 of the 15 million disabled passengers in the UK have at least one problem when travelling by public transport, because of the spaces that they don't have information about. And even when they have planned the journey and have asked for assistance, guess what? Nearly 23% of them don't get the help they asked for. So you've booked it in advance, you've booked it. They've got this new passenger assist system, but actually you've booked it, but after you've shown up, there's nobody there. Nobody to meet you. Imagine the terror and the nightmare that's involved in that. So it's a big pain for that. There was a lady last year, CAA reported, arrived by plane, waited 90 minutes for passenger assist that never showed up. Never showed up. What do you do? It's a big pain. One more. So vulnerable people travelling, women and girls, travelling alone through certain places. It can be dangerous. 55% of women report they've been sexually assaulted in London on public transport. Okay, or if you're living, in care, remote, alone, independently, nobody's monitoring how well you are. So having information about, spaces and travel, being able to track people remotely in spaces is quite important. Mersey Travel quantified the impact for their area of women and girls not being able to take up jobs that they would have if they had safe, reliable transport. That's a big economic impact, £338 million just for one region. Multiply that across the UK, and you've got a big problem. So what we understood was that existing things, apps, wayfinding tracking systems, care assist systems, they're not working very well for the users. And we thought that the solution was an AI-driven system, indoor positioning and navigation, as a platform that will use digitized virtual and augmented reality space to be able to guide people and track them, enable them to have a seamless and a safer and a more accessible journey through those spaces and an experience through those spaces. So what I have here is just to give you just a quick, not a deep dive into technical architecture, but just so you understand what's actually going on. So in the heart of our system is what we call BriteLocate Location Engine. That's our AI engine. And that's really taking in data from sensors. So those sensors, the 3D location sensors, some of them are our own. So we make precision ultra-wideband sensors that we've designed and built funded by Innovate over recent years. But they don't have to be our sensors. Okay, we're able to work with security cameras, high definition stereo imaging cameras, and of course our legacy, being able to take in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and integrate them. So basically we've built a really tough capability to be able to understand and locate, track and count people indoors. Before we do that, we need to also be able to digitize those spaces. So what are the techs that we're using to digitize spaces? First of all is the ability to digitize in virtual reality with laser imaging cameras, LiDAR cameras. Again, we talk about the autonomous vehicles, it's the same tech. Basically, to be able to map a space. So we can virtualize it, establish a point cloud data set, which we feed into our platform, and we process there, and we fuse that with location. That's essentially what we do. We can also, of course, we're hoovering up things like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth in those spaces. So that's, again, building a tough capability to be able to go to every space with its quirks and limitation and still be able to establish a baseline of location inside. And one of the bits is that sometimes in those spaces there's no internet. It's an underground. So we're building the capability to be able to still be able to locate and guide and track in those spaces. And that's what we set out to do, and that's what we've built as a platform. And then on the other side of that, you've got the output. So the web insights on the top. So our customers and users are able to have the insights. So understanding of how busy those spaces are, how the space are being used, what their staff, if it's operators, what their resourcing is, it matched against the demand in those spaces. When we talk about spaces, we're talking inside spaces, the zones within the spaces. So you talk about a station. You might know that there's 1,000 people in it, but you didn't know that there's a pinch point at the entrance to a particular zone. Or there's overcrowding within a zone which prevents people with disability being able to go through that at that particular moment. And if we were guiding them, we will guide them through another route. So this is about having granular understanding of the zones within spaces. Nobody is doing that well today. And that's really the mission that we're delivering, is to be able to break into spaces and understand them at a deep level to be able to provide that seamless experience for users. And then at the bottom is the applications. So the apps is what people experience of our system, of our platform. So you will have our wayfinding app, BriteWay, or our care app, BriteCare. But behind it, it's all the platform that's enabling that capability. Okay, so now here's a quick view of what BriteWay looks like. And you'll see that the first thing is it's AR enabled. So the icons you see in the screen are built into a real camera view. You just hold up your camera and the icons will come in. Okay, they will be guiding you. It also has voice navigation and, of course, haptic for those who are impaired. That's the first thing. But before you go, you're able to understand the zones within that space, what their crowding is currently looking like. This is just a simple view of that in an app. We have more WYSI views of them in terms of the flow of people and how that's moving in real time on the website, in the web app. So that's the app. And then the insights for the operator. So they're now understanding, especially if they're using our our passenger assist, so we're actually helping them with passenger assist. They're now able to understand in real time what customers are looking for assistance, where they are, and being able to match them with staff who are actually providing them with direct support, easily, one-to-one. So it takes away a lot of pain, and that support also happening with family and friends, so it may not be operators. So the ability to be able to locate and be guided by family and friends is also built into the system. The other app that's connected to the platform is our care app. This care app is actually designed to allow us to be able to provide remote monitoring for somebody who is living alone or in care or somewhere where there isn't enough staff to keep an eye on them. And they can go out and do their business. It works with precision sensors. It also works with ultra-wideband precision sensors. It also works with HD cameras. So we're able to understand their movement indoors, in a building, in a large care home or in a private home, and be able to then provide the carer who's remote with insights, and anomalies, things to take care of. And of course, you can imagine with AI, over time, the system will get really smart at being able to predict and allow you to triage and intervene before there's a real emergency. There's a lot you can tell by being able to have this remote capability that's not resource intensive. You're not looking for more and more stuff. This is really very much part of the future. So we've piloted this product in a large care home in Spain, and we are now, the next stage is to largest pilots here in the UK with the NHS and other large care providers who we have already talking to us about doing just that. So these are the way people consume and experience the product and the platform. I do have a demo. I did have two demos, but only one's playing. So let's play the one that's playing. This is so you understand how BriteYellow works. Here is the user. You're going to a station, and before you go there, it will allow you to experience that space through a virtual tour, which is using a virtual reality product that's now available. You can have a seamless experience through this of the space through the app and explore it, understanding. So somebody who's disabled, all that stuff that they don't know whether they can climb the stairs, And by the way, system can also give you a lot of information in terms of what the current status is when you're exploring this. So in the interactive version of this, we're actually allowing them to update information about stairs are not working, lifts are out of order. Okay, today, go to a different platform. Did you have a question for me?
If it's okay to do
yeah,
questions,
go ahead.
So will you digitise that station?
Yeah, we digitise.
Okay.
We do the digitisation, yeah. We don't have to, we can just take the data set if they've done it well.
Right.
Yeah? Okay. What was going on here in the background was that the passenger is requesting for assistance, or the traveller. So you're actually, within the system, you're saying, I'm coming to this station, please can I have some help? And you can chat with the local staff, and then they'll locate you, see where you are, and be able to track where they are and bring you to them, or come and meet you indoors. That's what this is actually showing. There you go. It's found your movement, and it begins to localize you. So this has been tested and demonstrated. There's a chat feature. It will have ability to call, but here it's actually managing a one-to-one connection with help. That's really the important thing. It's somebody who, a lone traveller, vulnerable person, able to have direct connection to somebody who can help them, and they see what that person looks like before that person comes to meet them, if they're coming to meet them, for example. And then what we have after this is then a show of the augmented reality, the use of AR to actually guide the passenger or the person through the space. I'll just let that play through just 1 second. Okay. So you choose the AR, and now this will load the space, and it will then, you literally pull up your camera, and it will work out from the screen where you are. So you're searching around, and it will say localize. I know where you are. So now you can get on with your journey. So you can imagine this happening in an underground. It's just using the visual screen.
Turn right.
And then gives you the guidance.
Is that
Straight
a
ahead.
requirement for an internet connection then?
Turn
No.
right. Straight
The
ahead.
map is preloaded. So as you move into the
Reach
venue,
your
it
destination.
preloads the maps. Okay, so that if you don't preload the map and there isn't an effective map to guide you, that would be an issue. So one of the use cases was how helpful it is to have 5G or good internet connection, so that it's really easy to get the maps before you actually get into the venue.
Straight ahead.
But because of the tracking systems that we have, we know where you are, and therefore the nearest maps are on the phone. So it makes it easier for people not to have to do it manually to locate themselves.
Does this also work for people that are blind and deaf as well?
So the voice is for people that are blind.
Blind,
Yes. For people that are deaf, it's the haptic, it's the vibrations.
Turn
Okay.
left.
Yeah. And
Straight ahead.
we've
You have reached your destination.
we'll be working with elderly people over the next few months to really improve the ease of use of the app for people with different disabilities. So we've just been funded to do that. Here is just to give you an idea of what, the live dashboard, what kind of insight it's giving to the operators in terms of where the passengers are, numbers across their venues. So it's a really scalable platform, and a multi-venue operator can use that to build a lot of data about how their service is working. They can benchmark themselves, they can see where the problems are, and then they can begin to use this to allocate resources in real time, dynamically, to improve flow through their spaces, which is the important piece. This is a common dashboard for all our apps and all our products. So all the apps can provide data. Everybody can access data through the dashboard based on what product they have taken from us from the platform. I did have a demo for the BriteCare, but the system stripped it. So don't have a demo of that.
I have a question. You mentioned about you build your own sensors and you use the LiDAR. I actually know the people behind LiDAR quite well because they're based out in Florida. I was spending time there. It doesn't work well. You use visible lasers. It doesn't work well in low light or in dark conditions. So how do you handle the mapping for those situations? Because ordinarily we just use radars. But how do you get?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So when we digitized map places, we map them in. I try to map them in optimal lighting conditions. Yeah? We don't map them in the dark. Okay. That's the first thing. But then, secondly, we have patent pending research that we've done on working in difficult environments. That's exactly what I call different, low light conditions, difficult environments.
Behind doors and stuff like that.
Exactly. And same with all the wireless stuff, being able to optimize the performance of the localization in difficult conditions. Yeah, and we are getting very good at doing it. Okay, it's taken some time. It wasn't great in the first iteration 3 years ago, but we're actually quite good at it now. And it will get, and like all things that where AI is involved, guess what? It gets better every year. So the solution that we've built today is not the one that we had a year ago, or the one we had the year before. We pretty much rebuilt the platform almost every year. Yeah? But we've been doing that because we're in a global race against competitors to become a platform, a scalable platform to do this end to end, not to do them as point solutions. So just to summarize the benefits, is what I call the benefits. First of all, the apps that now exist. The app is the BriteWay app itself is being trialed in 9 stations, and we're hoping to get a larger rollout sometime before the end of this year across the transport network. We have got other sectors that we can go after later on, but transport is where we're leading on. Healthcare might follow that early next year, based on how things go. These kind of tools increase familiarity with spaces because you know what that place feels like before you go there. Makes you more confident about that visit. You can have a better experience, a richer experience when you arrive. That confidence also improved through the tools like the voice and the haptic. Just helps people who have slight impairments be able to feel that they can experience that space. The safety aspect in terms of being able to travel people on their journeys or to monitor remotely is really important. we've talked about the value for people traveling. Know that somebody is on the end of the phone and knows where you are, or you know who's meeting you. The emergency assist works. The apps, or in the care van, have devices that have buttons that can call for help straight away, built into the system. The crowding insights are really powerful for making seamless journeys through spaces and in real time. And we've built it to be an open platform so that we can connect to other systems, other services, police, councils, so on and so forth. It's there as part of the system. So it's about really providing benefits for everyone. Just in terms of track record, I've talked about that we've done 9 stations currently with 3 operators. With Transport for Wales, with West Midlands Trains, and with Transport for West Midlands, where we've done pilots over the last year. And the product has been really built after those pilots, and we're looking to now really offer a more scalable solution. And I've mentioned there, we've just been funded by the Design Age Institute through the Transport Pathfinder to develop the BriteWay app and make it really focus on those people that are elderly and vulnerable. Just really to get that testing of their needs and make sure that the app itself is fundamentally easy to use and the whole end-to-end product is design-led. And that's really, it's a breakthrough for us because it allows us to finish the product. And I talk again about this is a product that has global potential, and design is at the core of anything that you can scale. And we have not really had that opportunity. This is a fantastic opportunity to work with the great minds that the UK has in design, to be able to ensure that the product, the whole product itself is well designed from the ground up. But a lot of our projects have been funded by DFT and DCMS ultimately. Okay, so this is one of our main customer, Transport for Wales. We've had a great experience with them. We were on their accelerator about 3 years ago. They were fundamental in us really getting an engagement with passengers and to validate our concept at an early stage. So when it was a proof of concept, there was a lot of thinking about validating the concept and making sure that the users, especially those with impairments, could give feedback before we went on to start to build the system. So, and they've been with us along the journey, and we're where we are with something that they've now funded to go into a large-scale user trial, which is where we are today. Recruited a number of passengers who are currently piloting the apps across their stations. So that's BriteYellow. So our tech platform, it's all about indoor positioning and navigation, and really about making journeys and use of spaces seamless and safer and accessible for everyone. All right.